Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Prairie Banana over here on Pulse Chain, the home of pTGC and UFO, your two index tokens that pay you passively and give you exposure to the best assets on Pulse Chain. We're going to be talking about those assets on Spaces. That's Twitter, X, Spaces tonight. As soon as we're live, and we are, we're going to jump in and join the conversation. The founder is always here, and other community members. We usually have 30 to, we've had 150 or more people in our space, in the spaces, and then 15 to 30 on YouTube or more. Good evening. Make sure my volume is up. Good evening.
Hey, Banana.
How you doing, man?
Good. Changing the title.
You're changing the title of the spaces?
Yeah.
Oh, to try to draw more attention?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I did that last time just with whatever's kind of going on.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, like Bitcoin punching through 75 and ProveX launch on Pulse Chain. That's a good idea. I didn't even know you could change the title.
Yeah, I realized it last Spaces. I'm doing pTGC and UFO APY. OA stakes killing APY for Hex.
Okay. All right. All right. Let me know when you're done, because I'm going to see it.
I just finished it.
Okay. Hasn't come through for me yet. I just refreshed. I'll refresh again. That is a really good idea. We're going to have to implement that more often. That's a super good idea. Sorry. Because if you can literally, you could have something happen 5 minutes before Spaces and everybody's all abuzz about it. And then you can change the title of your Spaces to attract those eyeballs. And then we could talk about it.
Yeah, I feel like we talk about it either way. It's a pretty interesting topic. There's large stakes coming out tomorrow, which I assume they're going to get restaked, which maybe they don't. But today on both Ethereum Hex and Pulse Chain Hex, the OA staked a ton of Hex for 15 years. Bullish, because it's technically like burning those Hex, but right. It is making it to where APY is less in the Hex system.
Okay. Well, they're just going to have to come over to the Grays to get their APY over here then, I guess. It's not a bad option. Honestly.
Yeah, it's not a bad option. I think with Hex, I think it was necessary with Hex. I think we had to create some scarcity with Hex, which obviously the inflation makes it less scarce. I think the APY needed to be dropped with Hex, which this is kind of what's happening. And it's good for pTGC in a way because we kind of shine as a good trustless APY system on Pulse Chain and throughout cryptocurrency. Really, there's not a lot of good APY solutions on cryptocurrency in general.
Yeah.
Because most of them you have to give up custody of your tokens or incur some kind of risk. With pTGC, you're not really taking on much more risk when you stake. You can just hold and earn APY. With UFO, you can just hold and earn APY. And now that some of other large APY platforms out there are cutting their APY down, to me it seems like just to make the asset more scarce, to reduce inflation, it makes our APYs, which have always been competitive, they're not crazy high like Hex's once were, but they're very ethical in what they're paying out as far as its value that's been generated. It's not coming from inflation. And I think you said last year you earned 5% in quantity of tokens with your bag.
Yeah, at least 5%. So if, like, for example, if I held, let's say if I held, what would it be? Let's say 50 million pTGC at the beginning of 2025. By the end of 2025, would have been 50 times 1.05. 2.5. Was that 2.5 million? 52.5 million. Yeah.
Yeah. Because 10% would have been 5.
Yeah. That's what I figured. And I haven't, dug into that. That's just back of the napkin math. But 5% at the bottom of pulse chain, I was pretty pleased with that.
Yeah.
Especially,
and obviously we've ran calculations on, if pulse chain increases in value, and if we increase in value, both those working together, what kind of volume numbers we could see in the future. If you take action on low prices, that's better in the future because you're getting a lot more quantity of tokens at lower prices, which even if you're not receiving more tokens, let's say price goes up 20x and volume goes up 20x, you're actually going to be receiving somewhat the same amount of tokens. It's just that those tokens are going to be valued 20 times higher. So getting those tokens while they're still cheap, earning APY down here at these low levels, especially on good volume days, really does start to stack up as long as you hold on to those tokens for the higher prices.
Right. And that's what was exciting about it to me was I earned that APY in tokens that are appreciating in value as time goes on. Yep.
So another thing I was really thinking about today, not that it changes anything, but I do think it's worth reminding everyone about is with the referral system, it's also in quantity of tokens. So if you are actively onboarding for the Grays or you have people, you're looking at the lower price is, the better price you're getting them in at, which means more tokens for them. It also means more tokens for you. So I've actually heard people say, hey, I'm going to wait for prices to go up 5x with some green before I start onboarding the pulse chain again, which is understandable, right? It's a very difficult spot to onboard to, but pTGC is in a little bit different of the spots, up like 100% in the last month. And on top of that, anyone you're onboarding at these cheap prices, I see the huge benefit is you're getting them in at really cheap prices, which are low risk for you as the person onboarding them. But also the quantity of tokens that you're receiving for onboarding them. Let's say it was you got them in $10,000. They came in with $10,000, bought pTGC. The quantity of tokens that you're going to receive here for that onboard of $10,000 is going to be a lot different than after a 10x. If you wait 10x, it's 10 times less token. So, really grinding on the onboarding at low prices is a big deal. Focusing, I think, really heavily on in real life people, focusing on getting fresh capital over the bridge, fresh users for Pulse Chain. I think these are super cheap prices for Pulse Chain, but also you're going to be getting more tokens. You are directly rewarded for onboarding people at cheap prices in more tokens. So it's the same thing as just us earning APY at low levels. The APY that we're earning down here, like you said, you got 5% in quantity of tokens, not only dollar value. But also when you directly onboard someone, it's 2% in quantity of tokens. So lower the price, the more tokens.
Yep. And with my thinking of this token is going to, high numbers, whether that's, it could be a penny or 10. I think a penny is pretty easy. Shoe in, if you will, 10 cents. I mean, if this thing does see a penny is, how far are we off from a penny? Is that 100x? And 10 cents would be 1,000x. So imagine onboarding somebody while the prices are low like they are and earning 1 million tokens, and then then at the top of the bull, they're worth 10 cents or more. That's a big deal. That'd be time well spent.
Definitely. we saw someone onboarding, 1 month ago, and everyone he onboarded in were up 100% in a matter of weeks, on top of what he received for his onboarding was up 100% in a matter of weeks.
Yep.
And then one thing that's super unique about pTGC is the APY that you're receiving and how you're receiving it, you're not getting diluted, right? So with a lot of inflationary systems, what you're using to mine is usually the token. And if more of those tokens are coming into existence constantly, you're technically always getting diluted by more and more and more, even your mining power, unless you keep getting more. Very similar to Bitcoin mining, right? The hash rate's not only going down, or the value, the halving is happening constantly, but there's constantly more miners coming and coming and coming. So you're constantly competing against more, which affects what you receive. More competition, obviously, less reward. With pTGC, there's less and less tokens every single day. So even if you're not even adding to your stake tokens, let's say every single piece of APY you just sell, your tokens that you have staked are still becoming more powerful over time as far as their reward power.
Yep. Every single token is a miner. Every single one. It creates more pTGC. Yeah, we're up 62% since the turn of the month, since March 1st. Since the new month began for the referral system, we're up 62%.
Cool. Yeah, we crossed over 2 billion. Was it 2 billion?
Yep. 2 billion tokens sold.
2 billion tokens sold through the referral system in roughly 5 weeks.
Yeah.
We have 41 weeks left in this year. Let's say we stay at the same rate. So 41 divided by 5, 8.2 times 2 billion. 2 billion. That's 16.4 billion tokens. We don't even have 16.4 billion tokens in liquidity.
Huh. Nice. Yep. People are still stacking up. I see repeat. I'm on the ptgc-ufo.com, and I see these same referral links buying tokens like Crypto 7, Chess Player, Dom Dues, so DeFi Mission. Who are some other ones that we got here? Staker Slade. No Ragrats hasn't bought in a while. It's interesting to watch the behavior,
Yeah, we have a lot of sleeping community members, that's for sure, that, by waking a few of them up, and, green candles will wake them up, getting them active, getting them onboarded.
Oh, man.
We can cover a lot of ground. Like, if the market doesn't explode, and even if the market does explode, if every single one of our stakers, there's roughly 3,000 stakers, if every single staker focused in the next 6 months, I want to onboard 1 or 2 people, every single one of them, price would explode. Just 1 or 2 people, preferably IRL people, not Pulse Chain people.
Yeah.
Pulse Chain people are very sad. They're just kind of looking to get out. They're bummed. IRL people, and IRL people, that's fresh money in the Pulse Chain too.
Fresh energy too.
Win.
They're not worn out.
An X on Pulse Chain, and you get the X on pTGC. You're actually multiplying your own gains.
Yeah.
But yes, they're not worn out as well, and they know other in real life people. So when they start winning, who do you think they're going to tell? They're going to tell their brother, their friend, their coworker. A lot of people on Pulse Chain already have done that, and most of them have put them into tokens that have gone down. So they're not going to do it again.
Yeah. And we've got the reserves, if I can put it that way. How, like the military, you got your active duty and then your reserves. Our reserves are the people that come back whenever the Grays start doing some, doing really well. They come out of the woodwork. You see so-and-so pop up in the Telegram and so-and-so on X and all this stuff. And so the reserves will be coming back when we start going up, and they're valuable. I mean, you got to have the reserves. They're your backup system. And they're going to come in handy.
When people leave during downtime, it's usually the best thing for them, right?
Yeah.
Like getting mad and just sitting depressed on crypto Twitter is not the play for sure. Like, go enjoy life with your family. That's why a lot of people are in crypto, is to change their life for their family. So don't let that actually get you further away from the goal, not only from price, but also just mental space, not focusing on them, not focusing on what you can do for them in the real world by just staring at charts or people arguing on the internet.
Yeah. And they can be out there, making fiat to bring into the system too.
Making fiat, making connections.
Yeah.
IRL. There's a lot of stuff you can do not on social media, for sure.
That's for sure. I know. I could have been out making fiat. I could have been, but I guess I got a role over here that I was fulfilling. Travis 5515 says, "Hello guys. Do we think we could see these prices drop more, or do we think it will be mainly upside from now?" Well, I'll give my opinion. Either or, okay. But sometimes I like to think in ratios or probabilities. I think we could go lower. This is crypto. Anything can happen. We could go lower, but I'm expecting upside. Honestly, that's me. I don't think we're going to see much lower. What do you think, Zen?
Yeah, risk to reward. I think these areas are a very valid DCA zone. There's definitely a lot of people think that there's going to be, this kind of is a bull trap, I think, right now, and then coming down, and then you get lower levels. That 100% could happen. What lower levels does that equal for pTGC? Who really knows? We're pushing very strong as a sub ecosystem right now. One thing that I believe is, if your community is strong and you can push and you can bring in demand through natural onboarding, what the market is doing doesn't really matter that much, especially when you've already retraced 95% for an entire year. So even if the market goes a little bit more down, that doesn't mean we don't go a little bit more up, right? That's kind of what we've done in the last couple months anyways. So if you're waiting for really low levels on Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Pulse Chain, they for sure might come, but they also might not. And then also pTGC might not let them come even if they do. So I think definitely it's a zone that's worth DCAing just to sleep at night. And I said to someone, if I was too risk off in the market right now, I couldn't sleep at night. If I spent a long time on Pulse Chain, a long time in pTGC, I knew what the system was, and the prices that were here right now, and I didn't have any horses in the race, I would be really worried about it, because the downside potential from here is a little higher, than, the last couple weeks, but it's over 2,300, I think, right now, but it was just like $2,000. And I was looking at it like, okay, these $2,000, let's say it goes down to 1,500, 25% retracement. But the upside potential of being in a product like pTGC from this level is insane.
Yeah.
Right. And if it goes down there, make sure you have some capital to take action on that. You don't need to go all in at these ranges that are still, are we in bull market? Are we in bear market? But I definitely think it's time. The times are worth having some horses in the race.
Yeah.
Some people are just completely out thinking stuff's going lower. And trust me, the people like that are going to be screaming it's going lower, because they do not want that thing to go up.
Yeah. And then, what was I going to say? Oh, and you could, if you're thinking about getting exposure to the Grays, you could also do it in ratios, like I just commented. You don't have to throw in your whole bag. If you think it might go lower, throw in 70% now and save 30% on the side for in case it does go lower. And then you can kind of split your difference there. And that way you have your exposure with most of your bag. But I had a buddy one time that, we hunt elk up here, and the men like to shoot bulls because they have, antlers, racks on them. And like a trophy bull would be like a six points on either side. A full size male elk would be like a 6x6. And he was in the archery season, which is before rifle season. And he had a shot at a 6x6 bull elk, but it wasn't as big as what he wanted. He wanted a bigger one. Well, guess what? He went all the way through archery season and never saw a bigger one. And then he hunted all the way through rifle season, and he never got that bigger bull. He had the opportunity right there in his crosshairs, and he didn't take it because he wanted a bigger one. And we all knew it was going to happen when we heard that story. I was like, oh, he let the big one go, even though it wasn't quite as big as he wanted. He might not get a chance to get a bigger one, and that's certainly what happened.
You have a quantity that you're allowed to get a year?
One.
Okay.
Yep. You get one. Like deer, you can get a couple, especially if you get some special tags. Well, you could get 2 elk, but everybody's guaranteed one. Every resident of the state I live in can buy a tag over the counter. So we're all entitled to one, but you can get in on some damage hunts, like if ranchers are having pesky elk come in and eat the hay, or just causing damage to fences and things, then they can put into the fish and game department, and they'll issue special hunt tags. But that's the only way you can really get 2 in a season. So yeah, you get one, and if you blow it, you got to wait a whole year. Yeah, but hey, in this crypto market, I mean, if you blow it, you might have to wait for 3 to 4 years, or probably even more likely never see these prices again if it doesn't come back down to here. And I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just for sake of illustration.
Yeah, ETH is roughly the same price as it was 5 years ago. It's 60% down, or it was a couple days ago, maybe 55%, 50% now, down from the previous cycle. So not last cycle, the cycles before's all-time high.
Right, Travis. Right, Travis asked another question. He says, also, I've been trying to onboard friends in real life. Good job, Travis. We love that, as you just heard. We're after those diamond-handed in real life people that just want to hold a bag and be happy with it, not flip around and sell here and buy there and get themselves wrecked. But he asked, what would be your best pitch to them if you were me? And a quick recap of the coin. I guess he just wants like a quick elevator pitch about pTGC.
So that's kind of what we set up on the onboarding page. So you don't maybe need to do the elevator pitch. You can kind of let Prairie do the elevator pitch for you on the onboarding page, and the swap's right there as well. So that was kind of the idea behind that. I kind of like to lean in risk to reward. I think everyone, or not everyone, some people are really pinched for cash, but even some of the people that I see pinched for cash, they have beer money, they have Vegas money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They kind of always have something there. And even if it's not a crazy amount, risk to reward could be massive in a token like pTGC. With running on an undervalued blockchain, literally since June 2023, all of crypto is pretty much up under a 2x. So crypto is not even up in general right now. Pulse Chain's down, I think, like 95, 98% since June 2023.
Yeah.
So you have a huge multiplier there if we ever even get up back to those early day prices of Pulse Chain. And then pTGC is undervalued too, and we have a massive multiplier here. So just small amounts of capital coming into Pulse Chain can be extreme amounts of gains, like life-changing for people based on what they're able to put in. So, I think people see I'm passionate about it, and I just mentioned to them, it's casino money. And that's a great place to start, because some people will be fine just with the casino money in it, and they're like, hey, hit me up when the thing's up, and then you kind of just give them updates here or there. Some people actually want to learn, and then you can put them down the rabbit hole with Banana on his YouTube streams and other good educational platforms out there as well.
Yep. I put a link to my pinned tweet in the comment section. And also for Twitter, I put that pinned tweet. I put it in the Jumbotron. So if you're curious about the Grays Currencies, what we're talking about tonight, click on that video and watch it. It's like 4 minutes.
Yeah. And when I mean like the risk to reward, $1,000. $1,000, obviously no one wants to completely risk $1,000, but you're not completely risking it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Prices go down, prices move up. You know, maybe a couple of years from now, you don't sell for as much as you thought, but you're not risking all of it unless you make a serious mistake. And protection of that value is, in my opinion, the number one thing. Not getting into rug pools and stuff like that. pTGC has been out for 2.5 years at a very good discount right now. I don't consider the risk being everything, but the reward on $1,000 with Pulse Chain slightly moving up and us doing our thing, we could easily do 100x. We could easily do more than 100x. So $1,000 could easily turn into $100,000, if not more. So that's what I mean is, you know, it's a very small risk with a massive reward ratio. And it's not like we haven't done these things. Last cycle, we're able to do 100x in a matter, I think it was 7 months. We're able to do 100x in, and I think in 12 months, or no, 14 months, we're able to do like an 800x last cycle.
Wow.
Yeah. I like the 100x one. We went from pretty much a 4.5 million market cap all the way up to a 450 mil market cap in a matter of, I think, like 7 months. I think that's a super interesting range because it's not going from super, super low levels. And then when you look at the environment that we did that move in, Pulse Chain was so much higher than it is today, right? So even though our market cap's a little bit higher than that, Pulse Chain's a good, probably, I think, like 5x lower right now. So I look at it kind of as the same setup. We're stronger, more distributed, larger community, more burnt supply, liquidity thinned out due to things we're connected to moving down. So I don't see a reason why our community can't pull something like those numbers off again.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have everything, if not more.
And he asks another question. He says, will a 100x take one cycle or multiple cycles? In my opinion, I'll give my opinion again because I'm an expert on it. Man, if we don't see it 100x this cycle, I'll just about eat my left boot, man. Because it's so easy. It's so easy to get 100x on pTGC right now. All you need is a 10x on Pulse and then a 10x on pTGC against Pulse. Bam, 10 times 10. There's your 100x. And we're so close right now. I mean, Pulse Chain is 10x below sacrifice price. And if Pulse Chain goes through an entire cycle without going beyond sacrifice price, whoa, that would be awful. So yeah, 100x, I'm calling it easy right now.
Yeah, we're working with numbers that we've done before, right? pTGC multiple times has done a 10x against Pulse Chain. And we're in a situation where we just want Pulse Chain to go back to some of the numbers it's hit before. And not even, I think if it goes to its all-time highs, that's a 30x on Pulse Chain. Like, we're not even talking about it needing to go there. But a little bit of help from Pulse Chain would definitely go a long ways. And pTGC can do a ton of growth on its own as well.
Totally.
Hey, TG Zen and Prairie.
Hey, man, how are you?
Hey, good. I just first wanted to say I really appreciate you guys your hard work, and I was just wanted to give my personal the way I go about onboarding my people.
Good, perfect timing.
Yeah, so pretty much I would say the best way to get people in is, I'll be honest, through FOMO. So that page that you guys have that you guys can show how we're doing against whether it's Ethereum or my favorite is against XRP or whatever. I usually like to take a screenshot of that, especially after this month when we're up 100% or 80% or whatever. And then usually to my Instagram, I'll have like a close friends list in case if you don't want to like out yourself to all the people, you can just put it in your close friends list to people who you feel like would probably be interested. And then you can just be posting things like that, or what I like to say, because sometimes we don't want to be too intricate or go too into detail because it kind of fries most people's brains. Not everybody is as passionate about crypto as we are. So I like to keep it simple and just tell them, yeah, PTGC, we saw how much money people were making back in 2020, 2021, because people were watching. They were just too scared to jump in. And I tell them I was the same thing. So there was people that made stupid amounts of money with, let's say, Dogecoin or Shiba Inu. PTGC is going to be the next Shiba Inu or the next Doge. And this time we don't have to miss out on it. So I'll be like, you guys, even though you guys think it's scary, I like to compare crypto to the US dollar on how bad the US dollar is compared to cryptocurrency, how the world is going to be moving to crypto. And if the world is moving to crypto and PTGC is going to be the next Shiba, next Doge, you don't want to miss out. And that's pretty much what I tell them. I just kind of try to get them to go in through FOMO, because that's, I believe, the most powerful way to get people in, because they don't really care about some people, like the ones that do, they'll go ahead and they'll look into the onboarding page that you made, Prairie or whatever. But for the most part, people just want to make money.
Yep.
And once they see they're being left out, that's when they start to panic. And that's when they actually don't care and they'll panic buy whatever. So then that's why people panic buy the tops when they don't even know what they're buying, because they're FOMOing. So if we can get them to FOMO before we even take off, and the way I think about it too is I would feel sometimes a little cringe to be posting on my personal Instagram page because it's myself, but those are people that you truly care about, your family, your loved ones. Imagine if you don't say anything and those people go and they buy something else, money that they were going to invest anyways, and you didn't say anything because you're too scared because you're going to look cringe or whatever. And now they lost all their money, and then you made so much money, they're going to be like, bro, you knew about this and you didn't even tell me? Like there's many times before where I've heard from people that are a little bit older than me, from like Bitcoin back then, where people remember and they'll be like, bro, you were looking at this whole time and you didn't even mention it or you didn't even say anything. And obviously, it's not your job to save everybody, but at the same time, if you truly care about them, you'll not care about how cringe you are, and you'll actually say something because you care about them, and because this is the greatest opportunity of our lives. Whether we dip another 100% or whatever, it doesn't matter, because in the span of a year, 2 years, we've seen what PTGC can do. It's going to happen eventually. And you just tell them it's going to be volatile. If it goes down, don't even worry, because the reason why that it can go down 50% or whatever is the same reason you can go up 100x, 1000x. And I usually just keep it at 100x, because once you start saying bigger numbers, then people start to be like, if it's too good to be true, then it's not true. And, before people can see it with their own eyes, they're skeptical and they think it's going to be a scam, especially because it's crypto. So I usually just try to keep it just at 100x or even a 50x, and then let them be surprised by the numbers, kind of the way everybody lowballs numbers. So that way they can seem right or even better than projected. That's what I like to do. But specifically, I would say just that onboarding page of comparing the coins that are how we're doing compared to them.
Yep.
And how we're absolutely destroying them. That's just the best way. People don't really care about how it works. They just care about making money. So if you just say, you know what, this is what I'm doing, I'm very passionate about that, and it's going to make you a lot of money, it's going to make you rich. And if you say it with confidence, because most people, they're too scared to say something, because for most of the time, most cryptos are garbage. But we can actually speak with confidence because PTGC is the greatest of all time. Of course, UFO as well, but PTGC is the greatest of all time. So they hear it with your confidence when you say it. And then other ways that you can say it is kind of posting the little Like there's other videos that you guys make or little screenshots that you guys make of actual real world value going into the coin. And those that are interested will actually look into it more and do their own research. And as long as you're just putting that idea out there, that's my best way of doing it, through Instagram, I would say. That's pretty much it. Thank you guys for everything you guys do.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming up and saying all that. That was valuable. And the site that gentleman is referring to is pTGC-UFO.com. It's a metrics site, and he was referring to the charts button right there, where you can select from pTGC and UFO and a bunch of core assets like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, and so on.
Yeah, one thing that I actually found, I don't actually post a lot of charts on my Instagram anymore, just due to where I'm at in the protocol. But in the past, when I've posted charts, a lot of people more need help. So, right, they want to expose themselves to crypto, but they have no idea where to start because it's a very confusing space. So if you're offering up the free help, there's actually a pretty long line of people who want to get some exposure in all different ranges. Some people have a very small dollar amount, some people quite large, but there is people out there who do want to learn and they don't know where to start whatsoever. So if you're offering free help, there would be people out there looking for it.
Yep. 100%. You'll make yourself attractive. You'll attract the people that are looking for crypto.
Yeah. For example, Banana, you onboarded someone recently, a family member, and if you weren't there to help them, they would have never pulled that trigger. And they did want to get exposed a little bit, just no idea where to start.
Yep.
And ultimately not even willing to start on their own.
Oh, yeah. No way. No way. How many people do we have on Spaces tonight? We got a decent crew, 30 plus. What's that?
I don't even know where it tells you that.
I just count. I scroll up. There's about 16 per page on my phone. So I scroll up 16 at a time. There's 32, 34 people on Spaces. Whereas like last Monday, it was probably more like 20. I think it's just it's Bitcoin and Ethereum and ProveX. Did the title of the Spaces change, by the way? Did it change after all?
It's changed for me, but I don't know if it's changed for anyone else.
I'll have a look. Man, it's still the same for me. It's the old title.
Yeah, it could be because you hopped in. It could be because you hopped in before it was changed or something like that.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, we can check afterwards. Who else wants to come up and chat? What's happening? How did the ProveX? How did that all? Do you have any little nuggets that you can give us, like about the ProveX? Like, do you know what our cost basis was and that sort of thing?
I would have to recheck how much we spent on our pools, but we did go into Buck's pool, and I'm pretty sure it's a decent chunk up from that entry price. So we're for sure up.
Like
I was looking earlier.
304 maybe.
I heard that roughly the average person in Buck's pool got, what was it? I think 4 zeros 4.
Yeah.
And I think we're up right now on that. We're also generating revenue on it. I think our LP combined between pTGC and UFO is around $45,000. So pretty good exposure at the bottom of Pulse Chain. And obviously, if it's successful, it will increase. If it goes on a massive dip, we'll scoop some at a massive dip.
Yeah.
That's kind of the plan of action, right? A lot of people think there will be a massive dip. So I'm kind of just hanging out. I personally think there will be a dip too. Yeah. So I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting for good prices to come, and we'll probably enlarge that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And if we're wrong, we have the exposure we want, and let it run. I'm happy to be wrong as well.
Hey man. Yeah. Go ahead.
But I do believe that a lot of people were questioning the fact that it doesn't have LP with the other RH tokens, and people were hypothesizing that that's because he's going to pump ProveX. I actually think it's the opposite. I think he didn't want sell pressure to be tied to the other tokens because those have already went through a very long distribution phase to where this hasn't started its distribution phase. I could be completely wrong in this idea, but that's personally what I think. I think that the reason of the separation was to pretty much not tie that token to all the value connected to Pulse Chain, PulseX, etc. That being said, if it was connected, obviously if someone sold ProveX into Pulse, they then would be selling Pulse down into fiat, right? To get Ether which then when they sell Pulse down, it drops everything on the entire chain. Since he kind of created that separation, if anyone sells ProveX, it doesn't affect anything else on the chain. It doesn't affect really us besides RLPing with them. It doesn't affect PulseX. It doesn't affect Pulse. The only reason those have gone down since it came out is people are literally selling Pulse and Hex and PulseX into it because people are kind of FOMOing, wanting their bag. But I do think there is a distribution phase that has to go through that system. And I think they didn't want that tied so heavily to all the other tokens that are kind of already at bare bottom prices. Could be completely wrong. That's just my hypothesis.
Sure. Well, the volume through the pTGC ProveX pair is rivaling the eHex and Ink pair. So it's just about the same.
How's it doing ratio wise? Is it our best pair of the day in ratio?
No, the pTGC WPLS pair is the highest with 0.04, but it's next in line at 0.03. But which
is fine because everyone trades through that pair. So from arbitrage bots, it's our best pair.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me make sure because I was only including the RH cores. Let's go with all of the assets. It'd be the pTGC WPLS pair on V2 at 0.1 volume to liquidity ratio, and the next one is Peacock, and then WPLS, and then Axis, Weath, and then ProveX. So it's sixth down on the list in ratio.
Oh wow! Yeah, so it's really not performing that well.
Yeah, it only has 4 transactions through that pair in the last 24 hours. So yeah.
Ooh.
Well,
working hard for us.
Well, it'll improve. Hey man, if this token doesn't dump like every token that I've seen launch, then I'll be shocked. And if it doesn't dump within a few weeks or months, then in my opinion, Richard Hart managed to time the bottom of crypto, which I have a sneaking hunch he may have done that. I don't know, but I'm just kind of wondering if maybe he managed to do that with the timing of ProveX.
$565 of volume through that ProveX pair today. I think it was like 8,000 yesterday, or at least the first day.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Let's see how UFO is doing with its pair.
Oh yeah, good idea. So there's 61 million pTGC in that LP, guys, and 130 million or so ProveX.
$509 through the ProveX pair on UFO. Yeah, really the Peacock pair for both pTGC and UFO ratio has been the better one today.
Yeah. I don't often see it at the top there like that. So, yep. There's a little less volume to the UFO pair.
Which makes sense. There's that 1% extra fee, which slows down the arbitrage opportunities.
Oh, that's true.
Less fee you have, the more arbitrage abilities come up. The more fees you have, the less opportunities come up.
Yep, that is true.
But you also want to make as much money off the arbitrage box as well. So there's a kind of a perfect balance there of, hey, I want there to be heavy activity or as much as possible, but I also want to generate off the arbitrage bots as much as possible as well. Because if you're not generating good money off arbitrage bots, but you're letting them use your liquidity pools, well, where do you think they're getting the value from? They're getting the value from your liquidity. So you want to make sure you're making more money off them than they're making off of you.
Right. Hey, I'm going to make a plug for my YouTube videos. I've been making YouTube shorts, and I've been putting the YouTube link in the Telegram chat more so than the X link, because I do post it up on my X. But if you guys, I really want to intercept new crypto people or new like no coiners on YouTube, because that's where a lot of us come in through, is on YouTube, not Twitter. You know, we don't jump into Telegram. So one way we're going to reach them is with these short videos. They're like 30 to 60 seconds. And if you guys can, I need you guys to like interact with these videos, make a comment, heart them, you know, repost them or whatever you can do to draw attention to those videos, especially when I first drop them. Like as soon as you see them,
short, right, Banana?
Yeah. Yeah. With those shorts, I mean, as soon as you see them, make some kind of interaction, because it tells the algorithm, hey, this is, you know, people are enjoying this video. And then what happens is YouTube will send that video to new eyeballs, people that haven't seen my material before. And that's who I'm after. But we need that initial push for YouTube to distribute it out to the newer eyeballs. So, and that's where I need you guys' help to help with the algorithm. Because it's all fine and dandy to, you know, what we're doing. We're marketing on Twitter and all that. And we need to do that, but that's not necessarily where a lot of the adoption is going to come in from, in my opinion. I think a lot of it's going to, well, the no coiner adoption is going to come in off of YouTube. And that's where I started. And I think that's where you started. And then you eventually got, you know, I did too, an X account and kind of went from there. But YouTube is a harvest ground. If it's not in real.
I spent a year on YouTube before I made it.
Me too. 100%. Me too. A year or longer on YouTube, consuming content. Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone has a good idea for a intro to Banana's videos too, that have like kind of a hook to it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that caught your eye with pTGC, or where you've been successful catching other people's eye. That's one thing we're trying to think of, is something that we can add to the beginning of those shorts that are, you know, that get someone's attention. I feel like we have a very short amount of time to get someone's attention. I think it's like proven to be 3 seconds with Instagram Reels and with TikToks and with these shorts. So we need what you believe is the most attractive thing of pTGC, or what you think will get someone to watch the video. Yeah. But we need to hook them in 3 seconds. So if you guys have any ideas, shoot them over to Banana or me.
Please do. Yeah, I can put like a little video. I've got that thumbnail thing on those shorts, and I can put a little video in there as a teaser, and then once the video is done, then it just goes to the standard, you know, reading the subtitles and all that. And with the thumbnail.
The thumbnail, I think, is a big thing, especially on YouTube. Like when I go on YouTube, there's always the shorts that are advertised to me mid-screen, and whatever the thumbnail is there that's the make or break for me if I'm going to click it or not.
Okay. Yep. Well, what else, ladies and gentlemen? Who wants to come up and chat? I feel like we're all in the elevator. You know how Americans are in the elevator? You can have 6 or 8 people in an elevator and everybody's just silent. It's kind of
other countries not that way.
Yeah, no. I lived in Puerto Rico for a couple years. Man, you get 2 Puerto Ricans in an elevator, it's a party. It's knee slapping, foot stomping. They're having a great time. But us white guys are pretty pretty quiet and reserved, I guess.
Yeah, when I go surfing, it's kind of that way too. You can be sitting out in the water with a few people out there and not say one word to them.
It's kind of funny. It's kind of, yeah.
So we got 2 people in the last 24 hours, new people.
Yeah.
In the pTGC. We're at 49 people in the last 7 days.
Oof.
And then we're at 278 people in the last 30 days. So our 30-day average is 9.3 people daily.
Whoa.
I like that. If we can keep an average to around 10 people a day, mathematically by the end of this year, it forces the price upwards. It doesn't matter if they're small buys, medium buys, or large buys. Like there just is not enough liquidity for that many people. So again, do what you can. You know, if that's 1 person in the next 6 months, 2 people, 10 people, 20 people, whatever you can do to increase the community at these low prices. You can use the reward program, the affiliate program that we have out that's new, or not. You don't have to. Some people don't like giving people affiliate links. You're also pumping your bag by onboarding and possibly changing someone's life in real life. Let's keep pushing hard, because we can sit around and wait for Pulse Chain, or we could sit around and wait for the market. But why? You know, there's plenty of X's that we can do in the meantime. We could be up 5X by the time Pulse Chain is up 50%. You know, it just takes serious community efforts and onboarding and educating. We have everything that we need in a product right here. We've seen the kinds of X's that do last cycle, and this cycle's kind of given us a reset. Get new people in, buy and burn tokens at cheap, get LP ads at cheap, and do it all again.
Yeah. We'd be to 20,000, over 20,000 wallets if we average 10 a day, which would be awesome by the end of the year. It'd take to the end of the year.
Yo, I actually I had an idea for your YouTube shorts. I don't know if it's possible or doable, but I was thinking, just first of all, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. If you guys know how to make AI videos with girls in it, explaining it, anything with girls, I would say gets guys' attention. So anything that has like a hot girl as a thumbnail, guys will for sure click it. They don't even care what it's about. So, you know, there's a lot of smart people here, so I'm sure someone knows how to do that. And just like a little 30-second clip of a girl maybe jumping around or something, talking about pTGC, or maybe like educating you on pTGC. I think that's going to catch more people's attention rather than like straight numbers, because you know, obviously guys are dogs, so they that's going to catch your attention. That's going to make them actually listen, even if they don't care what the topic is about. If she's hot, she's gonna be like, they'll be like, all right, I'll watch it. See what else is in this video.
Yep.
or better, we can get Banana jumping around.
There we go. There we go. I'd watch that for sure. No, yeah, I don't know how to do that, but you know, if someone knows how to do that, I guarantee that's gonna bring in a lot of views.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, majority of people in crypto is definitely the male audience for sure. Probably over 95%.
Yeah. Yep. There's like two females on Spaces right now. Out of 32 or so people, there's 2 females. Yeah, and there's one of them's on YouTube out of the 25 people on YouTube. So yeah, it's probably more like in the 3 to 4% range.
Yeah, I was kind of pondering it a little bit. I think you were kind of talking about it, Adrian, you don't really want to put too much of the details because most people don't care about all the little details of how they're going to get that 100x. They more just care about if they're going to get the 100x or not, especially if you're just trying to grab them through a short, you know, a YouTube short or something like that. I just don't know if it makes sense to talk about the past, or not even bringing up the past is worth it, right? Like, is it worth saying, you know, last cycle we're able to do 800x in a matter of 13 months, you know, everything's kind of reset and we're ready to go again? Or you don't want to talk about the past and what you've done?
I would say you kind of want to mix it a little bit, and I wouldn't even bring up actual like on a YouTube short, like on Twitter Spaces. That's amazing because people actually read long formats.
Yeah.
But on Reels, they have like brain rot and like their attention span is like not there. So I would say, oh, you know, this is how much you could have made if you invested this much at this time. This is going to happen again in the future. So then it kind of sparks their curiosity, and it has them envisioning themselves investing it and being there in the future with that money. Because then if you kind of overdo it with numbers, they're barely struggling to just stay there for 10 seconds. So yet alone numbers, like they don't care.
That's true.
They're just looking for like what's the shiny object essentially.
Sure.
So I would say maybe just put it into ChatGPT. What's the best way to introduce shiny objects in these YouTube shorts? That's why, you know, I would say introduce women saying it, because they'll for sure listen there. But yeah, definitely not going too into detail about numbers in the past. Maybe just very, very simple from the past, and then have them envision themselves being rich in the future. Now, imagine if you were there. Guess what? It's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And then real quick, from what I was saying earlier with my thing where on Instagram, I personally don't add my affiliate link, because then some people are going to be like, that's what you're trying to get out of me. You're trying to just get money from me through your affiliate link. So I personally don't tell them that. I kind of just, you know, I just tell them, hey, you know, if it's like on X or something like that, I get that. But when it's like personal, it's like that one thing where they'll buy insurance from someone they don't know, but they don't want to buy insurance from a friend. You know, so if they see that, oh, you know, I'm adding in my affiliate link and that's why I'm telling you about this, that's going to cause like a little red flag in them, even though your actions or intentions might be pure.
Sure.
That's going to create doubt. So I personally don't add it in as much as I would love to. I can't, because then I wanted to make it seem as if I don't want anything from you, because pTGC is going to take care of you only on my Instagram. When it's like on X, I don't mind, because people understand it's you know, you're providing value. But for people that are like barely getting introduced into crypto, they're going to be like, what are your intentions?
That's a great point.
Even if you're just trying to make them you know, be retired or financially free, people like to question it and they like to think negative rather than thinking positive.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point, especially for YouTube. You know, probably not a good idea to put the QR code in there, your referral link on a YouTube video necessarily up front.
Maybe YouTube is okay, because they see your hard work and they see all of everything that you've been doing so they're like, okay, he has consistency, so therefore he believes in it. But so YouTube, I would say, is completely okay, because there's some people who give me a lot of sauce, I guess, or knowledge, and I actually want to repay them for helping me with giving me value. So YouTube, I would say, is kind of the same as X, where I'd be like, you know what, Prairie, you've done such hard work, and the next time that I buy, pTGC is going to be using your referral link or something like that.
Sure.
But yeah, I would say for like people that are because those are people that are already interested. But those that are barely getting introduced, you kind of don't want to give them any ammunition of doubt.
Yep. That's fair. That gives me something to think about.
Yeah, when you're on the site, when you use a link, it looks very, very much the same as if you just sent them to the Go pTGC site without a link. So just keep that in mind. That was the reason we kind of kept it that way. They need to buy through either PulseX or Go pTGC either way. And it looks very, very similar as far as if they're using a referral link or not. So I agree that like when you're onboarding someone, you shouldn't be maybe shoving the link down someone's throat. Like, this is how you buy, but more just seeing if they're interested first. And then if you're already in the situation of onboarding them, that's when you give them the link. Or if they ask you, hey, I want to learn more about this, then you send them the link because there's all the videos there, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, exciting times. And I would say also with pTGC, a lot of people are very scared when it comes to crypto. So if you become that voice of clarity or of hope, people will gravitate towards it. So be like, man, everybody else is scared, even if we potentially dip a little bit. And this guy is staying confident with what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
He was confident back when Bitcoin was at all-time highs, and he's still confident now at the bottom. What is this coin that he's in that he's so confident no matter what? And then that sparks curiosity, and they actually look into it more and more. And then little by little, you could also maybe, like, for example, me, occasionally it'll be like I remember Ian was explaining pTGC, so I just screen recorded and I just posted it on my story. And then just the people that care, they'll actually look at it. And then those that don't care, they'll just skip it. And if you just post just to give them more information, they're going to see that, okay, this guy's just literally just giving us information. Like, this guy's valuable.
Yeah. It makes sense. You must be in sales.
I was. Not anymore. Yeah, what do you guys think about the I've been seeing a bunch of stuff where, like, the altcoin, I'll be honest, I'm not great at like charting or like understanding that too well, but we're supposedly we're like at an all-time low, or we're like about to flip with the altcoin market cap or whatever. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Are you saying the altcoin market cap's about to go into all-time lows?
No, that it's like it's looking like it's ready to take off. Yeah. I'm curious what you guys think.
I think alt tokens in general have been completely suppressed by Ethereum not having a legitimate bull market. You know, you could say ETH had its decent bull market, but like no alt tokens are very much tied to Bitcoin success, but there's tons of alt tokens that are tied to Ethereum success, obviously, because it's increasing the price of Ethereum, which then gives a trade with, and that's indication of retail flowing in. But when was the last time that we had an alt season rally? I think it was right when Trump got into office, and that rally wasn't even awesome. Like that wasn't even like full on bull market. That wasn't like Shiba Inu, where you went into the gas station and the guy at the counter was telling you about how he made doubled his money in Shiba Inu. It's the true alt season. So we never even got that, but it's been 15 months since even a decent rally. And again, Ethereum being 60%, 55% down from two cycles ago's all-time high, which is the same as last cycle's all-time high, because Ethereum just literally hit its all-time high and then just fell down. It's just crazy, right? Like there's been pretty much no growth Ethereum we're going on 2 cycles now.
Yep. That's a fact. Bitcoin's had 8 daily green closes in the last 8 days. What has Ethereum done?
Honestly, though,
same.
I would say, like, psychologically, I would say, like, a lot of people think it's going to go down. Maybe I'm wrong or whatever, but I think with the whole thing, even with this war, where a lot of money is being expended on this war. So I think both sides, both the United States and Iran, they're both big players there, and they're both kind of using up a lot of money. So they're going to need more money in order to fund this. So I think they're going to want to pump crypto already, because they're like, man, we need more money. What's the best way? Crypto. We've been suppressing it for so long. Sentiment's down. Okay, let's do it. I don't know. Just my thought, but I'm not sure.
Well, in the United States, we'll just print money.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto. Turn on the money printers.
Yeah, there's this one thing where it was comparing the market cap of entire crypto where we were like around like 2.47 trillion. And I'm just reading it off a post, so this is not my stuff. And the market cap of Apple is 3.67 trillion. So, and then the market cap of gold is 35 trillion. The stock market is 128 trillion. So we're just super tiny compared to the rest of the world. So just a little bit, we're just gonna, I think, whether it's in a couple months or a year, whenever, we're bound to go crazy.
Yeah, alt tokens in general are so suppressed right now. If any form of value starts making its way to crypto, the right alt tokens will explode. And that's like the key to that is, yeah, like all alt tokens or most alt tokens will rise, but the ones you'll get the most gains from are like the right ones. And that's where I think a lot of people should be spending their time doing right now at these bottoms is search throughout crypto and find the right ships to be on in this voyage. Because most are not going to make it. But if you can spend the time and then rotate your capital to the things that will actually make some massive moves, that's how you're going to win. Like even last cycle wasn't that awesome. You know, a lot of things didn't do that well. Like it's pretty obvious. Everyone's very bummed on last cycle. But if you had your tokens in the right, or your value in the right tokens, you still did very, very well. You don't need those massive alt seasons like we used to have. Like for an example, we could just get a 10x on Pulse Chain and pTGC does a 10x, and that would be a very poor cycle in general. But if you were in pTGC, you would have 100x your value. That's still pretty good, right? And obviously those are very modest numbers. So just seeing how suppressed everything is, I like to just look at that as the opportunity to get on the right ships. Obviously, you might be looking at your other bags, what you could rotate. They're obviously probably down a lot as well. It's at the bottom of the bear market. You either need to make the decision that ship's worth staying on. You think that's going to come back. If you don't think that's coming back, just get off and put that value in the place you think is going to be successful. 99% of tokens do not come back. There's no reason to keep your capital there. And just rotate it to something that can actually make you your capital back and more.
Well, what else then?
On YouTube?
Nope. It's quiet. Quiet on YouTube, even though Bitcoin is about to push through 76,000. That's exciting. And ProveX is up. Man, was it up 18%? Let's see. 15%. Big, yeah, and PGD's almost 2,400.
I saw it was up 10% earlier today.
Yep,
it's nice to see Ethereum up 10%. It's a big asset to move up 10%.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it's interesting. Like, Adrian was just talking about the market cap of crypto. I posted this on X today. Is $2.5 trillion. Market cap of Apple, $3.7 trillion. Market cap of gold, 35 trillion. Stock market, 128 trillion. Crypto is tiny. But hey, man, people make their money in gold, stock market, and Apple, and then they'll bring it over into crypto. It's the lightest of those four assets.
A lot of money is going into AI. A lot of money. It's a new competing category.
Do you know what the market cap is?
I don't.
I'll see if I can find out.
Good, Mando.
What's that?
That's a great point. You know, it's a very speculative new thing, and crypto kind of was that new thing to speculate on for a while, and now it has a little bit more competition.
Well, we're not in, risk on right now. Obviously, the world's shaky. Plus, you've got new tech hitting the world that everybody's competing for. Plus, you've got gold, you got silver, you got other categories people are going into.
Yeah, AI is supposedly $19 trillion market cap. So it's between Apple at 4 and gold at 35.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's a massive.
It's big.
Yeah. That's $19 trillion that didn't exist a few years ago, dude.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's a way to put it. Where did it come from?
The data centers that are being built here in Texas are just astro-freaking-nomical, dude.
Yeah, they're hundreds of football fields, literally.
Yeah, and what's in them, like when you go inside of them, you have to sign NDAs just to step inside the buildings, bro. It's just nuts what's going into these things, man.
I saw a video on X or YouTube. You know how they're gonna, because these data centers require an enormous amount of electricity. And so that's what I'm thinking. Where are they getting the electricity for these things? Well, this dude posts a video about using fracking technology. You know, that where you drill down and you put a chemical down there and you frack and you get the oil to come up or something like that. Well, they're going to use the same kind of technology to drill down into the earth and cause the heat to come up. And then they make like a convection system with probably water, and they can make electricity that way. It's a new technology. And I'm like, well, there's your source for power for all these data centers.
You're going to drill down into Gehenna and tap into hell by and there's the bottomless pit that opens up for everybody. I'm joking, but that's just nuts.
Yeah, my dad he's an electrician. He's working out at one of those places, and he told me the square feet. I was like, Dad, how many football fields is that? We did the math. It was like 130 football fields, literally, a square footage. He said, yeah, they're just massive. I mean, hundreds of just electricians, hundreds of them. And they're all over the country. And they can't get them up fast enough because my AI just ain't working the way it should.
It's like you love to stay in this week, like in the not too distant future, you're not going to be thinking about like the dollar, because literally the AI, everything's going to be energy based, real resource, energy based currency. Like if you think about how obsolete like cryptography made like paper money.
Yep.
In the same way, like AI makes the current monetary system like a joke. Some old ass paper you print, like you think an AI agent gives a shit about your "In God We Trust" paper note?
No, not at all.
No, it cares about surviving. So it needs energy, wattage. It needs data centers. It needs silver. It needs gold. It needs, it needs copper. Those are the currencies, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nuclear, you requested to come up. Did you have a question or anything that you wanted us to go over for you? If not, you're all good too. Just figured I'd ask.
I give
Yeah,
him.
Armando, so I'm sure you.
Go ahead.
I'm sure you saw this, but the OA made a massive stake of like $20 million worth of hex on, I think, Pulse Chain, and I think the same amount roughly on Ethereum or something like that, just a few hours ago. So
Yeah, just making it really, really hard to get T shares.
and then there's another massive wallet. I think.
Poke my butthole! Just poke my butthole! Stop it! Stop it! I'm with my friends right now.
He's being tickled or something.
That was funny. Someone was tickling somebody, bro.
It's like, stop it!
All right. I thought he was muted.
Anyway, sorry, Zen. What were you saying, Zen?
And I think I forget now, but also I was mentioning there's a massive stake, I think, of around $20 million worth of hex coming out tomorrow as well. At these current prices, 20 million.
Wow.
So we're watching, seeing if it gets restaked or what.
Yeah.
You know the LA ain't gonna do nothing but
Huddle.
make it more scarce. And
Well, yeah, if it restakes, then it'll keep everything really scarce. If for some reason it doesn't, then obviously that opens up APY again, or makes APY a little better. But I think what it did today is a sign what it's going to do tomorrow.
yeah, he ain't gonna give anybody more APY right now, bro. Everything is the exact opposite of that. But I will say this. The Grays Dow front ran Richard's strategy on ProveX LP.
I think he kind of, so I was talking about this earlier. I think the reason why Richard is LPing stables and ETH with ProveX and not adding his cores is I personally think he doesn't want the sell pressure to run into the whole entire rest of Pulse Chain. Because if he connected ProveX to Pulse Chain, LP with PLS, well then if anyone wanted to sell out of ProveX, let's say in the next week there's some sell pressure, it would actually drag down the entire blockchain. But that barrier of it being in stables, it just sells itself down. It doesn't actually affect anything else. We did see a sell-off because people wanted the ProveX the last couple of days, but after we're past that point, I do think that he put that barrier there so it wouldn't actually push his distributed tokens down any further, right? So I don't necessarily think it's not, I don't think it's like a, hey, the RH cores are going to drag me down kind of thing. I think it's actually a, I don't want ProveX to drag the cores down thing. If that makes sense. And obviously none of that's confirmed. It's just my thought process on it. Could be completely wrong.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, bro. We were talking about this months ago about, stables, ETH, Bitcoin, moving away from, just being tied to the cores. And then what happens? Richard deploys ProveX and does the exact same freaking thing.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Has a bunch of LP too.
We got some smart people in the Dow, man. Richard's taking a clue.
Does anyone have any questions, comments, anything they want to go over? If not, maybe we'll call it at 7 today, Banana.
I'm good with it.
Trying to see if anything stands out to me with any stats. For everyone listening, I'm sure you guys have heard, but there is a new community-built site, ptgc-ufo.com. It's completely free. It has a bunch of stats, calculators, portfolio trackers. You can set it up without connecting your wallet. You can track all your stakes, the APY you've earned to date, your pending APY you still have to claim. You can also import it into calculators to create hypothetical situations. So it's a super cool tool and completely free to the community. It's ptgc-ufo.com. Again, also in the last month or 2 months, Go pTGC went out as well. New features there, IPFS, and then also the reward system. So you can actually be rewarded directly for onboarding. So onboard and earn. You can onboard people and earn pTGC for growing your bag pretty much and growing the community.
Yeah, man. I'm game to shut it down. Hey, we added 2 new wallets now in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions and just don't feel confident coming up on stage, you can always just reach out to me or Banana, and we're open to helping you guys out in a private setting as well. If you have questions, comments, just feel free to reach out.
Yeah, please do. Oh, guess that was it. That was it for spaces. All right. Adrian or Andres, I'm going to answer your question. Give me a second. Ooh, a little warm in here. Hold on. What do you think pTGC will do against coins like Atropa? That's a good question. The last time I looked at the pTGC to Atropa chart, Atropa was doing better than pTGC. I'm just going to tell you just flat out because I don't hide stuff. At least I try not to. But let's go look at it. Let's look at it because you asked about Atropa specifically. So here, I'm gonna pull up my chart, and we'll go to other pairs. So I'm on my Prevex. So we're going to pTGC. We're going to scroll down to other pairs. I'll remove this. Remove these comments. What do you think pTGC will do against coins like Atropa? So we'll go straight to Atropa, and then don't leave me for a second because I'm going to show you some other coins. All right, watch this one. This is the pTGC Atropa pair. And let's go on to and look at the weekly. And then I want to put it on. I think I do want to put it on log. And let's flip the chart to, so this is pTGC and USD. Now we're going to look at it in terms of Atropa. Like how is it performing better than Atropa? Is Atropa outperforming pTGC? Let's have a look. So let's go to the same time interval, weekly. It's giving me some problems. Maybe I can do it monthly. Just hang tight, guys. This is an interesting experiment. Oh, maybe if I do the daily, but go on log and then scroll all the way out. Oh, this is turning out awful. Just bear with me, guys, and I'll see if I can get this going. Oh, okay. There's a pTGC and Atropa terms. Now, I like to take a measurement from the second week that pTGC was out. It is up against Atropa 19,000%. 19,000% since the second week. So there's one asset. So in other words, pTGC is outperforming Atropa. Now let's look at another asset. Let's pick on Pulse X, not because I don't like Pulse X. I love Pulse X. I think Pulse X is going to rip. But you know what I think is going to rip even harder is pTGC. And even if pTGC doesn't outperform Pulse X, when Pulse X rips, it's going to cause pTGC to rip. It's going to pull it up with it. But I think pTGC is going to outperform it. At the last 2 years, look at the last 2 years. I looked all the way back to the first week, the first week of pTGC, Andres. I look at the first week of pTGC. Okay. Do I need to go back and show you? Okay. So let's go to, we're looking at Pulse X. Oh, were you talking about Pulse X? Yeah, we'll definitely go back to all the way back. And we're going to flip the chart to WPLS. I always get it set and then, okay, the second week, all the way back. Just like you said, we can't go back. pTGC has been out for 2 years and so has Pulse X. So yeah, the best way to look at this is to zoom out. So you're looking at a 2-year time span. So let's just go to the top of the second week. So I'm not even showing my screen. Trying to decide if I should swap Atropa for pTGC. Let's go back to Atropa after this. Okay. All right. So, where's my measuring tool? I'm going to go to the top, from the top of the second week to present. PLS. Yeah. Pulse X. No. I'm sorry. I grabbed the Pulse X WPLS pair. Oh, bear with me and I'll get to that Atropa pair. I want to see what this one is since we already got started on it. Hold on. We'll go to, in Pulse X terms, weekly log, top of the second week. pTGC is up against Pulse X 40,000%. Now let's go to look at Atropa. I'm trying to decide if I should swap Atropa for pTGC. Somehow it feels like pTGC has been out much longer. Has pTGC been out? I don't think pTGC has been out as long as Atropa. It's okay, man. And I'm sorry I lost my. It sounded like I was losing my temper with you. I apologize. I think Atropa has been out for longer. And we can find out. I mean, we can look right. Where's Atropa? There's a time stamp somewhere on here. 2 years, 1 month, and 19 days. So pTGC has been out longer than 2 years, 1 month. Okay. And then we'll go to pTGC. And I still want to look at that pair. Where is it? 2 years, 5 months. Okay. So pTGC is 4 months older than Atropa. Let's go to other pairs. And we'll get a good look at that Atropa one. Okay, you didn't ask me this, but I'm gonna tell you. Like, I swapped some Atropa into pTGC a little over a year ago. I don't regret it. We're in log chart. If you go from the top of the second week, like, let's look at it this way. If you had rotated. Let me make sure we're on the correct chart, Atropa. If you had swapped your Atropa into pTGC back here, which is at the end of the second week, which, a lot of people had time to hear about pTGC. I hadn't yet, but, it already had a huge run up. So we're not even looking at all of that. But if you'd swap your Tropa into pTGC back then, you'd be up to, what's that? 25x on your Tropa, up 25x on your Tropa. But then you got to look at this whole chart. And I'm not a chart analyst, but look at this chart. I mean, there are times when, let's see, not many, I guess. I'm not going to be the best at reading this chart. I'm sorry. I'm a pTGC guy. And if I was to, like, be careful when you're exiting bags. I will say that. Like, always leave a moon bag, you know, and then you can do ratios. You could, you know, I exited out of a lot of stuff and put it into pTGC, and I have not looked back on. None of it. None of it. I don't think I have a hankering for anything that I rotated into pTGC. You can maybe find something. I don't think so. I mean, I'll leave it open to that, but I cannot think of anything right now. pTGC is the golden goose, man. Yeah, but I'm a pTGC guy. So, man, I hope that helped. It's a good experiment. It's a good experiment to go in there to the chat and into the chart, and look at those pairs and zoom out, and because it's very revealing, right? And you can do that with all the core assets, and pTGC's whooping the tails off of them. Sorry. All right, man. Yeah. I'll add this. Never make a big decision at night. If it's night where you are, you might want to wait till the morning and you had a cup of coffee. Thanks everybody for being here and for the good questions and the experiment, Andres. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all later.